These are some of the highest probability plays for the day. This is the Daily Profit brought to you by Linemaker Sports. I am Frank with Linemaker Sports. On today's show, we are going to go through some of the highest probability bets across baseball. All right, we got kind of a short slate somewhat today. All right, we got a couple baseball games. You got the Monday Night Football game, and then you only got a couple hockey games, really. All right, so it's kind of a bit of a slow Monday, but there is some stuff for us to go through. But before we get to that, let's talk about what happened this last weekend. All right, let's go through some of the stuff that happened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, so one of the plays that we did have for baseball was Tyreek Skubal. All right, under 2.5 earned runs. Now, he's been solid all year, pretty much. He's been under 2.5 earned runs. You've been able to print money off him pretty much all season long. Now, playoff time, of course, sometimes pitchers just play different. He ended up getting rocked in a huge game for the Tigers. All right, so he ended up getting rocked. I think he gave up like 5 earned and just was not a good performance whatsoever. He pretty much ended up choking there. All right, one of the best pitchers all year. That pressure when it comes to playoff time definitely hit him. Now, let's go to the NFL. All right, some interesting stuff for the NFL that we had. So we had Lamar Jackson to go over 40 plus rushing yards. There was a 90% probability of that happening. So what happened here was kind of funny exactly because he ended up having exactly 40 yards rushing. So you end up winning that by pretty much a half a yard. Because when it's 40 plus, if you land on 40, you end up winning that. And he had exactly 40. Because what happened was they counted some of his runs negative yardage because he ran out of bounds. All right, so he had like 45 rushing yards at one point. But then he ran out of bounds 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they gave him -5, which brought him to 40. So that one right there was definitely for a 90% probability. That one was a sweat for sure, because at the end of the game, if they take a kneel, if he kneels the ball down a couple yards back, that's a negative yardage, and then you end up losing that bet. So definitely was a sweaty one there all the way until the end to see what was going to happen there. And he ended up having exactly 40 rushing yards. So we ended up winning that by, like I said, a half of a yard. So that was, can't get more close than that. All right, and then we had Jack Eichel, I think the day before, I think that was Friday, Jack Eichel for the Golden Knights to go over a half of a point. He ended up getting that in the first period. So he got an assist in the first period, so that one was an easy, no sweat there. We also had the Cleveland Guardians on Saturday, I do believe. We had the player Brian Rocchio, I think his name is. I always butcher these guys' names. But he had 72% probability to go under a half of a run scored. And the Guardians actually played pretty well. Like I said, they rocked Skubal pretty good. All right. And he fortunately did not cross the plate, though, even though a lot of others did. He didn't, so we ended up winning that one as well. And then pretty much when it came to Skubal not doing well, correlated with our Jose Ramirez bet as well, because we had Jose Ramirez over a half of a hit at 70.9%, and he ended up getting a hit because he bats well against Skubal. He ended up getting a hit there. So that was good there. And then in the NFL, our last one in the NFL, we had the Atlanta Falcons, Drake London. He had a 75% probability to go over 50 plus. That one was no sweat really whatsoever. All right, he ended up finishing with like 73 or 75 yards, something like that. But he ended up surpassing that number, I think, in the third quarter. All right, that we needed. So those were good. Good weekend overall. Solid. Like I said, guys, definitely fun to be a part of the team and be on these probabilities and have some fun. All right, let's get into today now. Starting with the pitchers, like always. All right. We've talked about Chaminade already in the last week, 2 weeks, about twice. He's pitched very well for this postseason, all right? And his numbers for the regular season right now aren't really matching up with what he's doing in the postseason, all right? Because he only has a 56% shot to go under 2.5 earned runs overall, and then that dropped all the way to 42% against the top 10 in batting. So over the course of the regular season, he wasn't that clutch when it came to him going against better batting teams. But, playoffs come. Sometimes the opposite happens, all right? This is what happens in playoff baseball. Like I said, Skubal, for example, in a big game, he goes out, he gets rocked. Manaea, he hasn't did that well in the regular season. Playoff time comes, and he's pitching gems left and right. His last outing, he had 7 innings, and 1 earned. So huge. That's a huge outing for a pitcher to go 7 innings and only give up 1 run. So he's played well. So we can't put him on a fade alert. We just can't do it. Not yet. I mean, we just can't. He hasn't showed anything. I mean, he is going against possibly one of the best offenses, or the best offense in baseball against the Dodgers. So he's up there to where he could get rocked, but he hasn't shown anything in the postseason for us to think he's not going to go out there and pitch well. So Sean Manaea, he has a 42% shot to go under 2.5 earned runs. So we're obviously, I'm not going to be rolling with anything like that. So I don't want to put him on a fade alert either, because he's pitched pretty well in the postseason. He seems locked in. So I'm probably overall going to just bypass the Sean Manaea bet. But like I said, this is an option. If you don't have anything else to go to, you could kind of dictate what to do from there. All right. But I wouldn't probably do anything with Sean Manaea. Now let's go to Carlos Rodon. All right. On the opposite side here. He's got a 64% chance to go under 2.5 earned runs. And that, we had him, I think, at 81% against top 10 batting teams. But then his last outing, he only went 3-2 and gave up 4 earned. All right. So he dropped it from being 80% against good batting teams down to 79%. So we're kind of stuck when it comes to pitching in baseball, playoff baseball, because it seems like the pitchers that did good in the regular season don't do good in the postseason. The ones that didn't do good in the regular season do good in the postseason. So it's a little flip-flop there when it comes to playoff baseball, because you never know really what you're going to get. So when it comes to, the the Guardians-Yankees matchup here, I would say he has a better shot, obviously, pitching against the Guardians, because the Guardians aren't crazy in batting. All right, they don't have a completely stacked lineup. So I would say he does have a better shot on that 79% to go under 2.5 earned runs here, rather than, getting rocked. All right, similar to his last outing. So Carlos Rodon definitely going to be a possible option out there at 79%, because I do believe that 79% can stay true with him going against the Guardians. All right, so we got a 79% shot for him to go under 2.5 earned runs. Now let's get to one hitter for the day. All right, we got Will Smith. Let's take a look at Will Smith against Sean Manaea. He's got a 57% shot to get a hit. Now, he's batting .500 against Manaea. All right, I think he has 18 at bats, so he's 9 for 18 against Manaea. Solid. All right, that's solid as it can get, batting .500 against a pitcher, and he should get a couple at bats against Manaea to be able to get a hit off of him. 57% I don't like overall. I don't like that number whatsoever overall, but this is an option to go because he is batting so well against Manaea. Now, if Manaea gets rocked in the first couple innings, gets pulled, then Smith's going to have a couple of at-bats against the bullpen, which I don't like that, because then that correlates with the 57% overall. But, him going against Manaea, this is an option. Could be a possible option. For me, like you guys, if you follow the show and listen to what I say, I don't usually do anything in the 50 percentile, the lowest 60-ish. I don't really do much in that. I always look for the higher ones to go on. So it's always an option for you if you want to roll with it. And like I said, he's batting .500, so against the pitcher that he's going against tonight, with 18 at bats, he has plenty of bats against him. So definitely an option. Monday Night Football is tonight as well, but I did want to talk to you guys about Monday Night Football and the reason why there's not going to be any tonight. All right, for Monday Night Football. So first, you got Aaron Rodgers right off the bat. All right, we only have about 5 games of data really with him with the Jets. All right, so you can't really go off of that much. You can't really get too much from that or grab too much from that. Now, receiver-wise, Garrett Wilson would be probably the only one you'd look at for pretty much the Jets, and the same thing goes there because Aaron Rodgers is throwing him the ball. So you don't have that much data between them two. All you have is pretty much what has happened this season. So you're not going to get a crazy accurate number there. You can get a general number, but you're not going to get a crazy accurate number. Now, when it comes to the opposite side here, and Josh Allen. Josh Allen, obviously, yeah, you can go back to last year's data and stuff and work with that. But the difference is his receiving core got completely depleted for this season. All right, so the receivers that he had this season are not the main receivers that were last season. You know, he had Gabe Davis, he had Stephon Diggs. So he doesn't have them this year. So you really can't use those stats because he has a different receiver core. So all you could use is pretty much what's happened this year. So there's not much data to really go off of from this year as well for the opposite side there for Josh Allen. Then you look at the running backs for the Jets. Breece Hall. You could use last year's data with Breece Hall, but this year he's kind of losing some snaps now. He's losing some snaps to the second string there in Braylon Allen. So that's hurting him, so you can't really get accurate data with that. And then on the opposite side, you got James Cook. You could possibly use some data with James Cook, but again, it's just you can't really get anywhere with it. All right, so Monday Night Football tonight is a tough matchup to try to get any probabilities because on both sides of the ball, you just don't have enough data. All right, and that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes if you just don't have enough data and you can't come up with solid probabilities, guess what? You don't need to play it. You can just skip the game. All right, it's only one football game. So is what it is. Not much to go off of for Monday Night Football. So pretty much me personally, I'll be focusing more on baseball and probably the NHL maybe. There's only 3 games in the NHL as well, so you might not be able to get anything from the NHL. But like I said, what I do have for some F-bombs for tonight is going to be in that Dodger game. All right, I got a 71% probability for one of the hitters and then another 69% probability for another one of the hitters. All right, and that's going to be in both games. All right, both games for today. So not just the Dodger game, but also the Yankee game as well. So if you guys want those, make sure you guys go in the description and get in the group. I promise you guys, you will not regret getting in the group. It's definitely fun. All right, sports betting is fun when you actually make money and you're actually winning rather than losing all the time. If you guys want to learn exactly how to get these probabilities that I show you on the show each and every day, make sure you guys go in the description and book a call as well. Because like I said, I teach this stuff to everybody. So make sure you guys go in the description and click the link and book a call if you want me to teach you exactly how to come up with these probabilities. Now let's go through the slate one more time than what we had here. All right, Sean Manaea, not impressive in the regular season. He's pitching lights out in the postseason. So I can't put him on a fade alert because he's been pitching very good. But I can't back him either because his overall numbers aren't that great. So I'm going to pass on anything with Sean Manaea. All right, Carlos Rodon. Again, we got classic, like I said, did good in the regular season, coming in the postseason, not too good. All right, his last outing gave up 4 earned, dropped his numbers a little bit, but he still does have a 79% chance to go under 2.5 earned runs. And going against the Guardians, that should help as well because they're not one of the best batting teams in the league. All right, so definitely an option there. And then Will Smith, don't like under 60 percentile bets, but he is batting 500 against Sean Manaea with 18 at bats, so he's 9 for 18. All right, so a decent shot for him there to get a hit against Sean Manaea. Now, if Sean Manaea, like I said, goes out there, doesn't pitch too well, gets pulled, that percentage kind of drops a little bit, all right, for him to get a hit. So those are your options for tonight. And like I said, for the F-bombs, if you guys want those, I got 2 MLB plays that are basically 70%. All right, if you want those, go in the description. As always, guys, this is the Daily Profit. I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's show. Till then, I'm out.